Watch out, white gun owners. A new study shows that white Americans who own guns are more likely to be racist than if they didn't own this weapon. The study, which was published by journal PLOS One and links racial prejudice to firearm ownership in the states, found that, quote, for each 1% increase in symbolic racism, there was a 50% increase in the odds of having a gun at home, and a 28% increase in support for permits to carry concealed handguns. Sabrina, what else can you tell us about this study and what it means?
Well, I think that a lot of the findings are interesting and maybe confirm what a lot of, I guess, a hypothesis that many have had studying the politics of gun control as well as gun rights advocates and gun owners. And what the polling firm did, or what the researchers did, was to ask questions related to what's known as symbolic racism. So, of course, the question wouldn't be, oh, do you consider yourself to be racist? You have to be very careful of how you phrase a question. Otherwise, everyone will say no. But rather to ask and pose general questions about the African American community. So, for example, on a scale of 1 to 10, do you feel that it's accurate to say that blacks are violent, and then see how someone responds to that? Or do you think it's fair to say that since because of slavery and following the civil rights movement, have black Americans actually had the opportunity to rise out of poverty, and see how individuals respond to that? So that's how they could kind of examine the barometer of what's known as symbolic racism. And it just so happens that based on those who, as you mentioned, were slightly more racist in the symbolic sense, there was a much greater chance that they not only owned a gun, possessed a gun, but of course were very opposed to any forms of measures to reduce gun violence, anti-gun violence legislation, which of course has been a big topic of debate this year. I think the other thing I'd say about this is a lot of the opposition to gun control does happen to come, in fact, from individuals who happen to be white or happen to identify as Republican, more so from southern states. So it is consistent with many of the findings related to the gun violence conversation, but of course it adds in the factor of race, which is particularly interesting this time.